Last year, I doubled my reselling business, but I really went all in and used all of my resources, my time, money, etc., especially my time, just working on my business. And then I did my taxes, and I found out that I didn't make any money. There was no profit to 2024, so here I doubled my business. Now, to be honest, I wasn't really keeping, real books. So, you can say, well, you weren't keeping books right, so you would have known this. So I do confess to that. So there's definitely a lesson there. But once this happened, then I decided that I really needed to examine what I was doing, why I was doing it, if I was enjoying doing it, and, do I want to keep doing it? So that's what I'm going to talk about in this video. So stick around if you want to hear my story about how I've been running my business the last couple of years and what changes I'm going to be making, and specifically what I'm going to quit doing and what I'm going to be embracing and pursuing in the future that will be scalable and hopefully more profitable. So if that sounds good to you, stick around and let's get into it. Now, before you hit that unsubscribe button, I want to assure you that I will be continuing with my thrift hauls, my thrifting adventures, styling things, showing how to group things together, sourcing items and thinking with multiple ways that you might use something in the home. All the styling, all the fun thrifting will continue. Today, I'm here to tell you that I quit. And what I mean by that is that I am changing my business model. I am no longer going to be selling pre-owned, secondhand, vintage items in the, as I think of as a smalls category. I've thought about this for really most of this year. I had a fabulous January, but things really slowed down and I just got very busy. I jumped on YouTube, was trying to pursue all of that. And I just realized in the last couple months, I'm just not enjoying certain aspects of the reselling business. So I really looked at the numbers, thought about my time and what I want to do. And these are the reasons why I've decided to quit selling smalls. It really has to do with the profit margin and sourcing. I was in the habit of the last couple of years, like, oh, I can make 20 bucks on this, or, this isn't, there's not very many of these out there. I can sell this one. I can make 20 bucks. I can make $25. And I just kind of buried myself in this mass quantity of products. I don't have storage. So everything has been in my house. At one point I had 350 or 325 items listed amongst Etsy, eBay, and my own store shopping cart on my website. And I just decided for me, it's not worth having that many things listed and in my home. I just don't have the turnover and I just can't live with all that stuff in my home anymore. I do have a large condominium. I have a 1-bedroom. It's quite large. And so my office and everything is really set up in the bedroom, but I have boxes to the ceiling and on one side of the room, and I just don't want to live like that anymore. Main reason is the fact that I'm just going to quit all the smalls. I'm only going to be investing in things that I think are very special. Instead of trying to sell say 30 things a month, I'd rather sell a couple things a month and make the same amount of money, because it's the same amount of work to source, photograph, list, and pack up and ship a $25 item as it is a $500 item. So that's just where I'm at. I'm not judging anyone else. I do follow a lot of other resellers on YouTube and on other social media channels. And I'm just not fortunate enough that I have a garage or a basement. Storage in Los Angeles is very, very expensive. I checked into that. I tried getting into a local antiques booth, and there are some really good ones around LA, but it's pretty competitive. I think I tried 4 different antique booths and I couldn't really get any traction there. I do work a full-time job. I work a 40-hour-a-week job. Obviously, that takes up a lot of my time between working and sourcing things, which I do love doing. I love going thrifting. I'm going to continue to do that. So then I have 2 days off a week, and I've really had to think about, how do I want to spend those 2 days off a week? Do I want to spend it like I have been, which is out thrifting. But yes, I know. I enjoy that. That is really fun. The most fun part is finding the thing, is the thrill of the hunt. The time to photograph stuff, list stuff, it would take up all of my time. And, I have to pass on invitations because, I gotta stay home. I gotta photograph stuff. I gotta list stuff. I gotta ship stuff. And I'm kind of tired of doing that. I kind of want my life back. I want to have some fun. I want to sit by the pool, which this is the first time I've sat by my pool the entire year, and get back to the hobbies that I like to do. Cooking. I love to do sewing. I like to do hiking on a day off, and there's been almost no time to do that. I need to get back to the gym, and I think I just need to make time for, leisure activities. Having lack of storage and having things kind of scattered throughout my house is like, oh yeah, I got to list this, or where's the other half of this, or here's 5 of the glasses. I know there were 6, so things have gotten lost. I think things have gotten accidentally donated to Goodwill when they shouldn't have been. Because of lack of storage, I have to have a huge corner in my bedroom. You can see right behind me, and this is only part of it, guys. At one point, I had, I think, 350 items listed. Anything that was listed was boxed up and put in the bedroom here, and then I would put labels like this on the box so that I could find the items, which worked pretty good most of the time. I just didn't want to live like this anymore. So that's why a huge chunk of this has already been donated to Goodwill. I currently have about 78 items listed for sale. And there's probably a few more items that are going to go. Some of these things I've had for 4 years. And I was just like, you know what? If it hasn't sold in 4 years, then guess what? Nobody wants it. In 2022, I was a vendor at, I think I did 7 or 8 flea markets that year. I think I did 2 times at Rose Bowl, and then 4 or 5, maybe, I think it was 5 times at Long Beach. I actually did better at the Long Beach flea market. It's a lot of work to pack my car. I don't have a second vehicle, and that's just not an option for me to get a second vehicle. I thought about it, but it's just not practical, and I can't afford a second vehicle. I have no place to park a second vehicle, but I decided that in order to be really successful with showing at a flea market, you've got to have a designated vehicle, and you really have to be willing to put in the time to show there on a regular basis. I would say you probably have to give it at least a year, 12 months, so that people can catch on who you are, what you sell, what you offer, to make that worthwhile. Again, I did that 7, 8 times, and it was grueling because I was working also a full-time job. And I tried a market last year, so this is now like 2.5 years later. I tried one market, I tried Long Beach, and it was really completely different. There weren't as many vendors there. That market would usually always sell out for vendors, and there wasn't the foot traffic, so I was quite disappointed. I thought, you know what? I think my days are over for this. It's just not worth it for me to spend 20 hours total to pack up the car, go down, do the event, come home, and then a few more hours to unpack the car and put everything away. That's something else I thought of doing to grow the business, but I just don't have the resources, mostly the manpower, to do that. And one more final, extremely important, extremely revealing reason why I'm stepping away in reselling, especially those smaller items, is I just did my taxes. Now, some of you are like, well, why did you just do your taxes? Well, the state of California, because of all the fires, everyone got an automatic extension, so I took advantage of that. So I just completed my taxes, and the good news is I sold twice as much last year as I had done in 2023. So 2024, I doubled my business, but I had so many expenses. It's a little embarrassing for me to admit this, but I didn't make any money. So all that work, all that photography, all that listing, all the research, just I didn't make any money. So that's really that's one of the biggest reasons why. And it just really was the whipped cream and the cherry on my decision this week, realizing, yes, I'm going in the right direction for me. Well, I'm going to keep thrifting. Don't you worry about that, because I love styling. I love finding things, focusing probably mostly on my own house, and occasionally featuring some clients, and coming up are some other services that I'm going to be adding to my business, and take advantage of things that are just more scalable. I'm going to occasionally post some videos that show this journey, and let's just see if I'm successful at coming up with more scalable options as related to home decor, incorporating thrifting, second decor into your home. Thank you so much for listening to my story. And always remember, decorate and live stylishly. Please hit the like button if you like this video. I will see you guys next time. Bye.